Joining us now, Vidya Reddy, the founder of Tulir, an NGO that works extensively raising awareness on fighting child sexual abuse. Thank you very much, Vidya, for your time. In this case, 13 children have been sexually abused, assaulted in a school which hosted a camp without doing any kind of background check, due diligence. Is it possible for authorities to do some kind of profiling to make sure children would be under safe hands?
Sam, certainly there's been an abdication of responsibility by the school for not adhering to any kind of due diligence to check out whether who these people were, what they were like, etc. So that's a huge gap, which I think now the school education authorities have to insist that all these schools have any number of volunteers coming, NGOs coming and doing programs, and they all think it flows out of the milk of humanity, human kindness rather. But I think it's very important for people to understand there is a group of people called professional perpetrators. These are people who choose professions which give them the access and therefore the proximity to abuse children. And this is a group which dots any kind of service related, child related service across anywhere in the world. It could be coaching camps, it could be schools, it could be tutorials, it could be anything really where children congregate. So I think there has to be safeguards put in to ensure that these people's journey towards abusing a child is disrupted. So that's one. Two is there is Tamil Nadu is one of the few states, I think it's the state in the country which has recognized school-based sexual violence to be an issue, and in 2021 in June issued GO 83, which lays down certain compliances. Now, if there is a proper review and monitoring of these compliances that a school has to follow, irrespective of the board, if they are based in Tamil Nadu, it will certainly go a long way in preventing, I wouldn't say preventing all abuse, but preventing at least a limited amount of abuse from happening, a certain amount of abuse from happening. I would also like to talk about the fact that it's really important for the school and for the Krishnagiri administration to address the children in the school who, even though were not assaulted and abused, will have to process all this information with all the misinformation swirling around. People are going to be in a panic mode. Right. And I think there has to be a calming, soothing kind of way of addressing this situation to alleviate people's anxiety, to address their worries, but at the same time also sending out a message that the administration means business, that they will ensure that this doesn't happen as far as possible again, that there are going to be safeguards put in place. I think that's really important. Yeah.
The school teachers, two of them at least, the school principal and the school correspondent, even after the children complained to them, even after they were aware that this kind of a sexual offense has taken place allegedly, they chose to not report to the police. And police say they even told the students to not make or take it seriously.
This is the interesting thing. When POCSO was being framed, well aware of this situation of whitewashing situations and sweeping things under the carpet, there is a section 21 in POCSO which very specifically addresses the fact that anybody who runs an establishment or provides services to children does not report an instance of abuse, you will be held doubly liable for that, which I think is very important. And I'm very glad the rule book, the law book has been thrown at the principal and correspondent for covering up. And there's one more thing I would like to add is that it's high time we have a standardized protocol of inquiry when there is institutional based abuse, instead of a kind of a knee-jerk ad hoc reaction with everybody running around and panicking and probably creating more of a mess. I think it's high time we accept the fact that at any place where there will be children, there will be people who have a sexual interest in children. First is, how do we safeguard children from these people? Two is, if there's an unfortunate situation which happens, how do we redress this situation appropriately?
Lastly, schools often get panicky, get worried that reports of sexual offenses on campus could tarnish their reputation. The integrity of such campuses lies in not covering it up but reporting it.
Absolutely. There is no two ways about that. that it's not the school. A school, actually, we have a theory that a safe school is a school which actually realizes that these things might happen and takes all steps to ensure that a situation might not arise, or may be able to address the situation appropriately. An unsafe school is a school which says, oh, nothing like this will ever happen. The children in my school are never going to be doing these sort of things or getting into these situations, and actually creates a kind of situation where abusers will have a heyday. So I think that's very important to understand. It's just one rotten apple you're talking about, not the school's reputation which is going to get tarnished.
Any stats you can give us, all India, in terms of sexual offences against children and in terms of conviction?
I do not want to really talk about statistics because I have very little respect for the statistics because the way they are collated, compiled, or analyzed. But I would like to say one thing about statistics is that there are any number of, and I will say this for Tamil Nadu for sure, and I'm sure it's for every state, there are any number of cases pending in the court system of school personnel who are involved in POCSO cases, who are allegedly accused in POCSO cases. Now, there must be some system how we address this huge number of cases. So these people are not just suspended or transferred or not just put into non-teaching jobs, but that they actually realize there's an accountability for what they've done instead of these cases being dragged on.
Thank you so much, Vidya, for your time. That was Vidya Reddy, the founder of Thulir, talking to us in Chennai with Suresh, Sam Daniel, Find It TV.